All right, welcome everyone. Let's talk about a topic which has been very popular of late. It's made a comeback. It's nothing new, but it's just made a comeback recently once again. And the topic is nothing but what is flexible dieting? Now, flexible dieting has been around for almost 12, 13 years, at least officially. It was first, I think, talked about by Alan Aragon, if my memory serves me correctly. But now recently it's been in the news, different YouTubers talking about it, and I get a lot of questions. Okay, coach, what is flexible dieting? Should I do it? Should I not do it? Blah blah blah. So let's cut through all the BS and let's talk about what is flexible dieting. So flexible dieting is actually judicious flexibility in macro choices plus generally 90-10. Now, what does that mean? Judicious flexibility in macro choices. Let's look at our weekly diet. Okay, let's look at our weekly meals. Let's say you're consuming 4 meals a day. Okay, and you're consuming 28 to 30 meals in a week. So if we apply the 90-10 rule, so what that means is that 90% of your food choices, 90% of your macro choices, 90% of whatever you're putting in your mouth should be, relatively speaking, healthy. Okay, and what I mean healthy is, again, it's a relative term. What's healthy for one person might be poison to another person. So if we were to break down a person's diet, let's say across 7 days, say from Monday through to Saturday, your breakfast is whatever you're eating, oats and berries and maybe whey protein powder, or maybe eggs and toast, and mid-morning you're having some fruit, and then you're having chicken and rice and some veggies, and afternoon snack is similar, and dinner is same. So let's say you're eating this across 6.5 days, and then Saturday night comes around and you go and you have a pizza or a burger or whatever. That's flexible dieting essentially. Okay, flexible dieting isn't that you're eating just because, let's say, your daily macro requirement, your total daily energy expenditure is 2,000 calories. It's definitely not that you're eating 1,800 calories comprised of junk. It's donuts or pizzas and burgers and whatever else, or even 1,000 calories. So if you had to break it down on daily basis, let's say 2,000 calories was your total daily energy expenditure, what that would mean is that you can probably perhaps eat 200 calories from whatever you wanted. Obviously not alcohol every day. Some people do. So 200 calories could be from anything. So let's say your 1,800 calories in a day comes from all your healthy, good quality proteins, good quality starchy carbs, greens and fruits, and then 200 calories that you've got left at the end of the day or any time. You might want to have a little bit of ice cream or whatever else you want to have. So that's what flexible dieting is. Flexible dieting isn't licensed to eat whatever you want. Moving forward, the next question is, who is this for? Very, very important. So as you can see, it says someone who knows exactly what they're doing. So what this means is somebody who understands not only the macros, but also the micronutrients of foods as well, understands their daily requirement of key nutrients. So somebody who knows, okay, I need to hit my sort of 1.5 to 2 grams of protein, and that's going to come from quality sources. My carbohydrate requirements are perhaps, let's say, 3 or 4 or 5 grams per kilo. My fat requirements is, let's say, 0.5 to 0.75 grams or 1 gram per kilo of body weight. And it doesn't have to be actually in calorie terms. It's just as long as you know what you're doing. You know, okay, this is the amount of food that I need to be eating to sort of stay within my body weight, or just to pursue the goal that I'm pursuing. It's going to allow me to get there. So just as long as you know what you're doing, okay? So then, or someone who has a coach. So let's say, I mean, I have clients who don't know how to sort of make their diet plans, and that's okay. You know, that's not their job. You know, they are busy professionals there. If somebody's an IT professional or somebody is doing something else, you don't expect them to know everything with the diet. So if somebody has a coach who can guide them accordingly, or you can reach out to somebody and say like, hey coach, I've eaten this today, can I have this? I mean, does this sort of, you know, what do you think of this for today? So then the coach might say, based on the person's goals, where they are, and all those few of the variables, the coach might say yes, or the coach might say no. Now, another very, very important thing with flexible dieting is someone who has excellent control. So what I mean by that is, it's not for, if you don't have control, that let's say you've got macros worth, I'm talking about macros, I'm not talking about micronutrients, I'm talking about macros. Let's say you've got macros left worth say 200 calories, and those 200 calories worth is, let's say, one muffin. And if you have no control over stopping at one muffin, and you know you're gonna wipe off the entire box, then flexible dieting definitely isn't for you. It's much like some people, they cannot stop at one drink. They have to, once they start drinking, they'll polish off half the bottle, they'll wipe themselves out, and then they're throwing up everywhere. And the next day is complete write-off. So for them, complete abstinence is the way to go. So they have to not even drink a single drop. So more than even someone who knows exactly what they're doing, someone who is a coach, excellent control is the most important thing. Without that, if you can't control it, like control yourself at, stop yourself at like one muffin or a little bit of ice cream or one alcohol, then definitely flexible dieting isn't for you. Maybe your relationship with food is screwed. Maybe you need to sort of look at it from a holistic standpoint, go back to the drawing board and then start from scratch. What flexible dieting isn't, it's, as I said earlier, it's definitely not a license to eat just whatever you want. It's like, not like, okay, my total daily energy expenditure is 2,000 and I want to lose weight and I want to create a calorie deficit of, let's say, 300 calories. From my caloric intake, I'm going to eat 1,700 calories. It is not a license to eat whatever nonsense or crap you want, or less nutritious food of 1,700 calories worth. Yes, will you lose weight? Yes, you will, because you're technically in a calorie deficit. But the question is, you've got to ask yourself, what sort of weight are you losing? Are you losing fat? Most of your weight that you're losing is coming from fat, or are you losing ton of muscle along the way as well? Yes, you know, if you're eating 1,700 calories, and out of those 1,700 calories, if you need to be consuming, let's say, 600 calories worth of quality protein, and you're barely eating 100 calories from protein, that the 1,600 calories are all coming from high sugar carbs and trans fatty acids, yes, you will lose weight, but imagine what that's doing to your health. So obviously that's an extreme illustration, but you get the point. Another thing is, when is it not ideal? This is a great question, okay? As I said, everything is relative. It's definitely not when your goal is extreme. So in bodybuilding situations, the closer you get to your contest, the less flexible your diet becomes. Or if you've got a lot of weight to lose, a lot of body fat to lose, obviously the margin for error, for room for flexibility isn't as much. If you have a client who needs to lose 10 kilos in 4 weeks, obviously, you know, you have to be very, very mindful of every single food selection you make. So in extreme cases where you're trying to lose a lot of weight, or you're close to the contest, if you're 1 week out from a show or 2 weeks out from a show or any big sport, then the flexibility sort of comes in. Obviously, you have to be very mindful. You're not going and eating from outside. You could easily fall sick, or you're not eating any unaccounted calories. So if the goal is extreme, then flexible dieting definitely is 99% is never a good option. So you have to sort of go down the traditional clean eating, rigid diet plans. Rigid eating definitely is needed, has a place, but it's very goal dependent. You know, for general population, I think the number one thing is, my advice to you would be is, if you want to sort of practice flexible dieting, the way you've got to go about it is try to sort of, to pick your sort of 4 or 5 protein choices depending on where you're living. Let's just say if you're living in India, then you might say, okay, I want to eat sort of, my protein choices are, again, depending on where if you live in the coastal region, then okay, my protein choices are going to be like chicken and fish and red meat or beef or pork or whatever, depending on your religion. So 80% of my protein choices are going to come from these choices. Then your carbohydrates, you might say, okay, I want to eat fruits, and I want to eat my starchy carbs, and I want to eat my greens. So there's 80-90% of my choices, food, what I put in my mouth is going to come from this. And then my fats are going to come from, let's say, okay, I'm going to cook in olive oil, or I'm going to cook in coconut oil, or I'm going to eat almonds and cashews and walnuts. So 90% of my fats are going to come from that. So you make a list of all these foods. Okay, these are, when they say there are people saying there are no bad foods and good foods, well, that's a bit extreme. Yes, there are less healthy foods if you want to look at it that way. So you might say, okay, these are my 5-6 protein choices, these are my 10, 12, 15 carbohydrate choices, oats and whatever else, and these are my fat choices. So you stick within those choices. You can mix and match as you want, rice, whatever it is, and pasta or whatever. So you can mix and match. And then for the remaining 10-20%, 1 or 2 meals a day, you can eat whatever you want. But the bigger thing is, just because you're eating healthy, and this is where a lot of people go wrong. So they think they're eating healthy, they can eat whatever quantities they want. They think, oh, fruit is healthy. Yeah, sure, a bowl of pomegranate is going to have 250 calories. You still got to burn the damn thing off. So just because you're eating healthy, just be mindful. It's not a license to eat whatever quantities you want. So I think at the top, you've got to sit at, I think if you had to look at from a pyramid perspective, at the top, you've got to put staying within the calories. Then the next you've got to put is, okay, am I hitting adequate amount of protein? Whether it's 1.5 grams or 2 grams, am I hitting the adequate amount of protein? And then it's like, am I getting enough healthy fats, essential fats, healthy fats, things like avocados, olive oils, cashews, walnuts. So okay, am I getting that? Then am I getting, then the fourth would be, am I getting enough antioxidants? Then things like your, berries or whatever else, the goji berries and all the antioxidant foods. And then your fifth could be is, okay, these are my carbs choices, whatever it is. So I think that's how you're going to look at calories, protein, your good fats, your antioxidants, and then is your, whatever other carbs you want to eat. So that's the nuts and bolts of flexible dieting. If you have any questions, you can obviously comment below. And if there's any other topics you want me to sort of cover, you can comment that below as well. If you like the video, give us a thumbs up. And I'm going to try to bring more and more of these videos and varied content. Hope you enjoyed it and hope you found it worth your while. Any comments and questions, I said, comment below. And yes, do not forget to hit the subscribe button. That's very important. If you want the best, no BS knowledge, you know where to come and find it. On that note, thank you very much for tuning in. See you next time.